Morning.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What in your right mind thinks this is the greatest fucking place to do this?
This is a high school, and students need to learn.
Yeah, learn about other shit than this.
Why not this?
Because this is not the place or time for this.
Everybody
We're all walking into school not trying to think about abortion and what it is right or wrong about. This is not a political standing. We'll do this at the Planned Parenthood, not a high school.
We do it a lot of different places.
Huh?
We do it a lot of different places.
Yeah. Then why a high school?
Because the students here, I'm not saying all of them, but many are most likely having sex outside of marriage. Some are having sex outside of marriage, and of course, children are conceived through that sex.
And that's their choice. Why? I get it that you're against abortion, but this is not the place.
Why not? Well, it is the place when the very people here are having sex, and some of them may be going to Planned Parenthood to murder their children, or they're using hormonal birth control. They need to be educated about this, because this does save children from being murdered. It does. So we're here like basically on a rescue mission. We know children are being murdered at abortion facilities, so we go to the people who are murdering their children. We go to high schools, we go to college campuses, we go to the public intersections, and with people will see this, and they'll be like, I didn't know that's what abortion was. I had no idea. And then they're like, I cannot murder my child. That happens a lot. And people think that the students here are too young. Well, no, the people here, I know because I used to be in y'all's position. I went to public high school, and I was watching violence, sex, and gore on the TV before I wasn't a Christian. And so people who get upset at this, they're the same people who watch trash at home on Redbox. And that's not a consistent position. They'll watch blood and gore at home, but get upset over this. And the reason they get upset is because maybe they participated in the murder of a child, or they just don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to have to look at a child who's been murdered, but they'll look at it on the TV at home. And that's we need to be upset over sin. We need to be outraged over sin and hate sin. And our culture loves sin. We love our rebellion against God. And this is the fruit of our rebellion against God, the mass murder of children. And like, when I went to public high school, no Christians ever came to my high school to do what I'm doing for you all. I wish they had.
What's the science behind this?
What's that?
What's the science behind it? Give me facts that this is what's happening, and this is an actual baby from conception. Like, once the semen goes into the egg, give me the science that thing is alive every minute of the way.
Life begins at conception.
Huh?
Life begins at conception.
Is that baby is physically awake? Is that baby physically breathing?
Yes.
It is.
The child is alive from the moment of conception.
Breathing before it has lungs.
Well, the child develops during different stages of pregnancy.
It has a brain before it has a brain.
Well, the child develops a brain later in the stages of pregnancy, early on.
Later. That's why abortion is legal from a certain point, because the baby is technically not conscious or breathing at a certain point in time.
Well,
Am I right?
You're right that the child does not have certain abilities or certain developments as like earlier in the stages of pregnancy, but you're not right that. I don't know if you're saying it's okay to murder them, maybe not, but
it's not murder.
It is murder because it's a human being from the moment of conception.
If it's not alive, it's not murder.
The child is alive from conception.
Does it have a heart? Does it have a brain? Does it have love?
The child has a brain at 21 weeks, or is it a heart at 21 weeks.
You were once this size too.
We were all once this size.
Yeah, that would make sense because we all were babies.
Yeah, and this culture told you and all the students here that it was okay to murder you in your mother's womb. If your mother wanted you dead, she could have paid money to have you murdered, to have your arms and legs ripped off and have your skull crushed.
It is, yeah.
And that should bother you.
It happen. But if
it doesn't have to happen.
Is not ready or physically capable of having a baby, then why have one?
Well, let me ask you this. Should your mother have had the right to murder you when you were 3 years old? Let's say you're making her life hard. Should she have had that right?
Yes, if she murdered me, that would be illegal because I was physically born and alive. A baby is not conscious from the point from from day one of conception to whatever week that it has a heart, brain, and lungs. It's not conscious.
Well, there are people outside the womb who are not conscious. There are people who are not conscious, like there are people who are in comas. They get in a car accident and they're in a coma.
Those comas, they still have functioning brains. They're just not awake.
Well, there are
babies don't have a functional brain or a heart or a lung. That's why they have a tube that goes to their stomach that helps them breathe and feed.
So how do you define the value of a person on their what they can do or their function, or how do you define the value of a person?
I find value in this if they're alive, actually physically alive and breathing. If they're not breathing, having any type of brain function at any between this point and this point, they're not alive.
Well, but science does say that they're alive from the moment of conception, that a new human being comes into existence at conception when the sperm fertilizes the egg. So they may not have all the functions, such as a heart or a brain waves, but they are alive. And those things, all these functions will come in time.
Yes, they come in time, but again, they're not conscious or physically breathing on their own. It is an egg. It is. Have you ever had an egg before? That's what it is.
Well, you could say like a child after a child is born, right after they're born, if you leave them alone, they're going to die.
Yes.
They're going to die.
If I leave you alone without any water or anything, you'll die too.
Exactly, all of us.
Yes, we're all going to die.
So we can't just go. We can't go off that. These children in their mother's wombs, they need our help even more because they cannot help themselves. They can't defend themselves. And left alone, they're going to die just like, yes, all of us, without food or water, nutrition, we're going to die.
I get that, but what about the kids that are not fine with it? I just said that I am not.
I'm going to get the facts.
Just getting a healthy dialogue.
If he's actually right about this, then he's right. But
Well, the students here, they're coming to school, so we're bringing school to them, free education to them on the public sidewalk.
Most teenagers know what abortion is. They don't.
This is not.
It shouldn't be at the entrance of a high school. You can go down the corner.
Why not be on the sidewalk in front of a high school?
Because you're upsetting the kids.
Well, they need to be upset. We're living in we're living in a daily mass murder.
And he's not wrong. The girls weren't wrong.
But where's your signs of?
Well, no one has a choice to murder a child.